We're going to talk about the PowerManage Agency Management System by Quomation. To understand PowerManage, you need to understand that everything in the system that you do is client-driven, meaning that when you click and highlight a client, everything else in the system will be tied back to whatever client is highlighted. Over here to the far left, we have a list of all of our clients. I can choose to search clients by typing a name into this field. I can also choose to search by, let's say, a phone number, a partial name, or receipt number. If some reason you don't have the customer's name, we have alternate ways of actually finding the customer here in the system. I can choose to filter this list if I don't want to see everybody's information. Let's say that I'm a producer in the office named Dave, and I want to see just Dave's clients. I can choose to only view Dave's clients. That's going to make it so I can see my people very quickly without having to go through all the other clients in the agency. I can also filter this list by prospects, past clients, individual canceled clients. A lot of different ways of actually filtering this list to get the right information. I'm going to go ahead and choose to show all clients and prospects in the system, and then I'm going to choose a client that I need to look up for a policy change here. So now you see I've got Jonathan Connor highlighted, and you'll see all of his different policies in the system. So you'll see some that are active, some that are expired. We don't ever purge any of our information in our system. Once this information is inside of PowerManage, it is permanent, and so you will be able to see a history of things that have gone on with each policy. Now when I double click on each one of these policies, let's take the auto policy for example, it's going to open up our auto policy screen. This is going to show me the policy number, the state, the carrier that the policy is with, lead sources, CSRs, commission levels, premiums, a lot of information on the screen. We've laid it out so you can very quickly look through this at a glance, and we also have a tab set up here so you can tab through and look at additional information. I can look at the drivers that are on a policy, the vehicles on a policy, the limits and a breakdown of the premium. And then under the additional information tab, I can also see things like notes for a policy, payments, to-do items, as well as invoices. So this is kind of a snapshot of a lot of different things going on with a policy, and there's places where you can get to all of this information in the system and other places. What you'll notice down here across the bottom is that we have a bunch of shortcuts. These shortcuts are very nice and convenient. They can take you to other places in the system. If I wanted to go into this customer's client files to maybe look at a scanned document or to scan a document in, I just click the client files button, and that's going to bring me into the client files screen. Let me teach you a little bit about the client files. So now you can see I have a list here with all my files on it. We have a viewer down below, so I can click through and actually look at the different images that have been saved to this customer's file. We can sort those files a couple different ways. I can sort them by policy type, or I can choose to actually see all the policies in the system. From here, I can then also choose to I can choose to scan in a file, and that's something I can do by directly opening my scanning program, and I can scan that directly into the client's file there, which is very convenient. I can also choose to email files out. So if I wanted to email files to a client, maybe they're asking me for a certain form or a certain thing that had been scanned in, I simply click that email file button, I choose the files I want to email out, and then I click the attach files button. That will then attach those files to the body of an email, so I can go ahead and send that out through the system. PowerManage is set up to work mainly with Outlook and Microsoft products. However, it does work with other email providers, actually just about every email provider out there. But for the smoothest integration, we do recommend Microsoft Outlook products, Office products as well as Outlook. I'm going to go ahead and close that now. So that was our general policy screen like I showed you. There are, like I said, a bunch of shortcuts, and I'll kind of go through some of these buttons as the demonstration progresses here. The next thing I want to go over with you, I'm going to kind of walk through this bar and show you a couple different features. The next thing is our TF notes. This is a very important part of PowerManage. This is going to be where we keep all of our notes and documentation for each policy. And these notes most of them are going to be automatically generated. You don't have to go in and actually make those notes. They're going to be automatically generated to where basically you go in and do an action or take a transaction towards a policy. That's going to automatically log that here. It will show you the date, the time, the person that took the action, and then what the actual event was, or the action that was taken. So let's say that you go in and you track a payment. You go in and you check out some commissions, you delete a commission, you change a policy, whatever it might be, all that information is logged here. This section is really for E&O purposes. If you ever had a dispute with a carrier or customer, you could very easily come in here and find that information so that you always have that record. Now you can also manually add to this. I'm going to go ahead and put a note in here. That's going to show me the date, the time, the person that took the note, as well as the description itself there. And so you can have your producers or CSRs come in here and actually take manual notes as well, on top of all the other transaction notes that are happening in the system. The next thing to go through, I kind of showed you the client files here, and I'm skipping a few of these things because a lot of them are self-explanatory. I'm going to actually come down here to the Power Forms section. Power Forms is where we do all of our Accord forms. As you can see, we have a list here of all the forms that have been generated for this specific policy. And so these are the ones that have already been filled out, that have already been given to a customer. Now if I want to make a new form, I just come over here to the actual Accord form list, and I can choose an Accord form there. If I double click that, I can actually open that up, and it's going to fill out with the information that's already in the system. I'm not going to have to go in there and type any information in because it's already saved in the system as a policy. I can choose to then preview this as the actual Accord form. And so this is what our actual Accord form is going to look like, just a standard Accord. And we have these in all states, not just Nevada. So that's going to fill out there. And if I needed to edit it at this point, or when we actually do the real Accord form, you can edit it either one of those forms at that point without a problem. I can also email this here directly from the system as a PDF attachment, which is really nice. So if I had somebody come in or give me a call and say, hey, I need this form, I simply generate it for them very quickly like you saw, and then I could go ahead and email that out to them from the system. Alright, so that is the Power Forms, which is our Accord form system. One important thing to note is you can get to that from a lot of the different policy screens. Down here across the bottom, I'll show you we have an auto, a home, a commercial, as well as a crop and hail, life policy, health policy, umbrella policy, and an investment policy. So we have a lot of different policy types in the system that can be created. The other important thing is we actually have it to where you can do any policy type because it's completely customizable. Here in my auto policy screen, if I had some other policy type we don't have on the drop down for some reason, all I have to do is click on this plus button and I can enter my own line of business into the system. So the system really can track any type of policy that you have. I want to show you the commercial policy screen real quick because this is very important, especially for our commercial agents out there. This has just been redone within the past 6 months. We actually went through and redid the entire commercial screen. What we have here, the first screen is general policy information, as all of our screens are, so you can see kind of general info. We have our premiums and payments section here, so I can take a look at what my premium is. We have a breakdown of additional fees and coverages. I can see what payments have been made toward those policies, and then also the invoices here as well, when those are generated, what the balance is, that type of thing. And I can actually choose to schedule payments from here, or add a payment, or add a new invoice. Very flexible with a lot of those things there. We've got a screen that covers your limits of liability. We've got the general liability, the automobile liability, as well as the workers' comp liability. So all that's going to be in the system there. I've got my certificates and forms section. So one of the most important things that we changed when we redid this commercial screen was our certificates and forms section here. We had a lot of complaints from agents that they were sick of having to go and put in certificate holders information over and over and over again, to generate all those forms that they have to. So we actually went in and made a Rolodex for all of the certificate holders. That's called our Manage Certificate Holder screen. And so this is where you put those certificate holders in one time. You're then able to go through and choose which ones you want to link to a specific policy. And I can just highlight the ones I want to link there, and that's going to link those to the certificate of liability that we have there. So now I come down to create a new certificate, and that's going to fill out that certificate for me with the ones that we went ahead and linked there to that specific form. And so those are going to be at the bottom based on the ones we put in there. From here you can email those, you can print them out, you can save them, you can preview that. Very similar to what we do with the other Accord forms. And like I said, there's other places you can make those Accord forms throughout the system, kind of integrated places. We've got fleet information here. We have the drivers, the vehicles, vehicle coverages. We've also got properties and equipment. So this is where you track your properties and coverages, your equipment and your coverages. Then we have additional coverages. We know that in our system we're not going to have every coverage, especially with commercial insurance, as I'm sure you're aware. There's a lot of different coverages that could be out there. So we have this section where you can actually add any type of coverage you want to, very customizable. And then we have a premium finance section here as well. So if you want to track who that premium finance company is on the policy, you can do that. And then under other rating info, this is where you can add additional things that have been asked for over the years of us having the system. Alright, so that is our commercial policy screen. I showed you the auto. I guess I'll show you quickly the home screen here as well, so you can kind of see it's a very different look and feel. The first screen is going to be similar. It's our general information. Then we've got your structure information here. So this allows you to, have all that structure information in the system. We've got your coverages and a breakdown of the premium there. And then we've also got the additional info here. Okay. We do have a payment section inside of PowerManage, so if you want to actually track payments, generate invoices, make payments towards the invoices, track all that stuff, very easy to do. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually create an invoice, and so I'll go ahead and just do a new invoice here. And I'm going to put an invoice amount in, put a description of the invoice, and then I can go ahead and generate that invoice there. The nice thing about PowerManage is you can actually customize any of your forms with your company logo. So if you have a logo for your agency or company, you can go ahead and put that in here. We'll assist you with doing that to make that very customizable for you. So we've got the premium here. Down below, if there were any payments made or any additional fees or charges, those would be added here, and then you'd have your total balance. Now with that invoice, we can then also make a payment towards that invoice by clicking on the new payment button. And I can go ahead and make a new payment. So it's telling me that $387.50 is what's due today for the invoice I have highlighted. I'm going to go ahead and make a payment of $387.50, and we then can choose how they're making that payment, whether that be with a check, MasterCard, Visa, whatever. We also can add anything we want to that list. So this $ here, if I were to click on that, I can choose to add a payment method. So it's very customizable as far as that goes as well. I'm going to go ahead and just say they're paying at the Visa today, and I'm going to take the last four of the credit card for verification, and then I'm going to go ahead and save that payment. We can set the system up to where it'll actually open the website of the insurance carrier that you are doing the payment for. That way if you need to go to the carrier to actually make the payment, it's a shortcut to get you there. And then it'll also allow you to generate receipts for the payment. And so this one actually does 3 receipts. If you want to print those out and save a copy, you could then give a copy to yourself, one for the carrier and one for the customer, for record keeping purposes. We do have a payment log here based on every specific policy, so you'll be able to see what payments were made towards that policy, and it keeps that in a payment log. One of the nice things about this is a lot of agencies will print a payment log at the end of every day. If they want to kind of see how their till's doing, they would come in here and they would choose to print that payment log. This is what that would look like. Let me go ahead and let me zoom in for you there. So this is our payment log, and that's going to show you what payments have been taken in the agency, who took them, what time. I mean, a lot of information there to kind of show you what's been going on as far as payments go in the office. Okay, so that's the payment section there. The next thing I'm going to go over is going to be our reporting section. It's very important for an agency owner or an agency manager to understand what's going on with the agency. We do have a lot of reports to kind of help out with that. We've got our production report, so I can see production by date, carrier, agent, lead source. I can also see a company summary and then an annualized premium report as well, which will show you production. And so with the production by date, I choose the date range I want to pull that for, and then I'm going to go ahead and click my preview button, and that's going to give me a report based on that production, whatever criteria I had highlighted there. So I can choose to do that by, like I showed you, individual producers, by companies, or I can just do everything that's in the office. So that'll give you a general feel, a general layout, and then going to the last screen here I can get a total on that. Looks like there's barely 2 pages, so I've got my total premium, my total commission there, my total policy count. So that's for whatever date range you choose to put in there. I've also can do it, like I said, by carrier, agent, lead source, company summary. So that's kind of the production report there. I've also got my expiration reports. This is a very, very popular thing inside of PowerManage. Typically the way agents use this is next month, if they want to see what's coming up for expiration, they'll go ahead and run this report for the next month, and that way they can see, okay, these are the policies that are expiring, these are the ones I need to make sure I follow up with to see if they maybe need to have some extra TLC to get renewed there. So this will generate that list for you. It'll show you the dates they're expiring, and then you can have someone in your office go through those and make sure they get renewed. Okay, so the next thing here, next report is going to be our commission report, and I'll kind of show you the commission section here in a second. This is where you're going to come to pull commissions by carrier, agent, or CSR. Very straightforward. If you basically choose your date range, you tell the system your criteria, and it's going to pull that report for you. So I've got my producers here. This is Charlie's commissions. And I can show you the total net premium, total agency commission, and then agency paid and due. And that's all based on the commission reporting section that we have here in the system. And I'll show you that here in a minute. We've got TF note report, so if you want to print out those transaction file notes, the ones that are keeping track of everything going on in the system, you could print those out for a client or an agent. We've got client list, general information, and then under other reports there's quite a few different things here. I can see a commercial invoice list, which would show me who owes me money for commercial invoices still. I can see cancel policies, inactive policies, edited payments, broker fees, just a lot of different information. One of the cool ones is our cross-sell reports. So if I wanted to see who's got a current, let's say an auto that doesn't have a life policy with me, I can pull that list, and that's going to generate that out for me. I can then also choose to do a mail merge and send out either an email blast or just print those out and do a mailer with those. Our system will do all that for you, so we can teach you how to do that, where you can do a mail merge, email them, or print them out with a marketing piece there. Okay, the other cool one is graphs and statistics here. So I can choose to pull a report based on the criteria I put in, and I can say, okay, I want to see total by agent. So I want to see this agent has the most policies to date, for whatever date range I have chosen there. I can look at that by company, so if I want to see what companies I have the most policies with. And the nice thing about this data is I can look at this in a bunch of different chart types. So I can do pie charts, bar charts, plot charts. So there's a plot chart. We also got our pie chart here. So there's just a lot of different ways of actually looking at that data. You can also export that data out as an Excel file if you want to do that. There's a lot of different ways of actually looking at the data there. Alright, the last thing is actually our custom reporting. If there's any type of report that you want that we don't have in the system already, we do have access to your databases, and so our agent care team will assist you in getting you whatever custom reports you're looking for. As long as we have the data, that is something that we can pull for your agency. Alright, the next thing to talk about is going to be our marketing section here. So in the marketing section, these are just simple marketing letters that can be generated. I can do, for instance, like a holiday letter, choose who I want to send that to. So I'm going to go ahead and just send it to all clients. And then I'm going to choose a policy status. I'm going to do all as the policy status. And then that's going to fill out that letter for me. So I've got 101 that's done a mail merge on. So I've got 101 different letters here ready to go. Like I said, you can put your agency logo in here so that's kind of customized for you, and then you can change the text to whatever you want to. It's very, very editable and customizable. And then you can choose to email that out or print that out. So a couple different options there for the marketing piece. Alright, the next thing is our commission section. This is what we call our commission wizard. So if you wanted to go through and pull a commission report for specific carriers, specific producers, or just all carriers, all producers, you could do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick with all for now to get a lot of data here. So I've basically told the system the criteria that I want to have for the report. So I told it that I wanted to do all producers, all carriers within a certain date range. And so that's going to kick back and pull up this report for me. Now with this report, I'm able to see who the policy is with, the policy number, carrier name, the net premium, commission rate, commission due, commission paid, and then you've got a balance over here, which looks like it's kind of getting cut off there. So the balance is going to just show us what is left to be paid. And so down here at the bottom, you'll notice the net premium, commission due, commission paid, total balance, and then the agent and CSR total. The cool thing about our commissions is we do those based on a simple equation here. So we've got full premium minus taxes and fees gives us our net premium, times that by the commission rate gives us our total commission due, and then as that commission is paid by the carrier, we can go ahead and fill this out as a reconciled paid commission. So that way, as an agency owner, you know that you're getting paid for every single policy that you sell that you should be getting paid on. Now there is a couple different ways we can speed up this process so you don't have to go through one by one and actually reconcile those. We can download those commission statements through the carrier downloads, and those will actually reconcile them for you. So there's a few different workarounds to make that a faster process. But the most important thing is you can track your commissions down to the T and make sure you know exactly what you're getting paid. Alright, talking about our carrier downloads, that's the next thing to review. So we do work with Ivans here, as you'll see the Ivans button. We actually work with all carrier downloads companies. So the two biggest are probably Ivans and Team Up. We also work with Progressive Downloader and all the other specific carrier downloaders as well. This is what we call our Ivans log, and so this is going to be where we see all the different downloads that have come into the system for whatever period we're telling the system to pull. So typically when you come in the office, we're going to have automatically run those commissions we're going to have automatically run those Ivans downloads for you. And so you can come in and see, okay, here's all the different downloads in the system that happened during the last night. So the way that Ivans works is we have a connection with the middleman, which is the carrier download company, whether it be Ivans or Team Up or Progressive Download or whoever it is, and then they have a connection with the carrier themselves. The carrier will send them information as it happens, and then we will pull that from the middleman, which is the download company. This could be anything from someone writing a new piece of business to doing a policy change, a renewal, a cancellation, commission statements. All that information does download into our system. The nice thing about PowerManage on this is that you don't have to go in and do anything to actually get those downloads to come in. They automatically will download, and this list that I'm showing you now is simply just for you to know what's going on in the system, what downloads happen and what changes happen in the system the night before. And so you can come and say, okay, here's all the things that happened at this time to these policies, but inside the actual policies themselves, they have already made those changes. And then if you were to go into the TF notes for that individual policy that was changed, there'll actually be a TF note saying, yeah, this change was made at this time by the download company. So that way you always have a history of every change that's gone on with every policy. Alright, so that is the Ivan system. That's a very important part of PowerManage. One of the big advantages we have is that we have our agent care team that's very good at helping get these accounts set up. So if there's any help you need with setting up an Ivan's account, getting those carriers to start downloading with you, our team has been doing this for many, many years now. We've been downloading for over 10 years, and we definitely can help you with that process. Alright, couple last things here. We've got our calendar. This is going to be a shared calendar in the agency, so you can actually look at other people's calendars. And the nice thing about that is you can choose to assign them things on their calendar. So if I want to say, okay, I got a guy that I want Dave to call back, I can go to his calendar and put that calendar event in. So let's put that into Dave's calendar. I'm going to have him call Jim back. This is the policy number. The cool thing about this is you can't export it to Outlook, and that basically will sync that with Outlook, so they also get the reminder popping up there if that's where they get their reminders, or they can just keep it within the PowerManage system here. So now on Dave's calendar, when he comes in the next day, he's going to be able to see that note that says to call Jim back. He can pop that open, and he can get all the details on that specific thing. The way that'll actually look is it's going to pop up the next day looking just like this, and it'll be down at the right corner of his system, and he'll see, okay, here's all the things that I need to do. Here's that call bill, and so he can pull it up and see what that says there, and he can finish the task in the event. So that is our to-do item and calendaring system in PowerManage. Now we also have text messaging, as you can see here. This has become very popular over the years. This is the thing it's used most for is probably the renewals. So if you had somebody that's about to expire, you can quickly send them a text message. Send them any message you want to. It is customizable, and that will sign that with your information as far as your agency goes. Sent by this person with this agency, and then you can put your text in there. This is the only thing in the system that costs extra. Everything else is included with the PowerManage system. Text messaging is an additional fee, but it is the only thing in the system that costs additional.